Hey, welcome to 21 Questions. My name is Mike. I run a trivia company called Trivia Tribe, and this podcast called 21 Questions, where I ask you, 21 questions. That's why I called it that. Let's get started. Question 1. According to the English proverb, attack is the best form of what? Defense. Attack is the best form of defense. Question 2. Which now separated celebrity couple have children named Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret? That's Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman, of course. Question 3. Are the Iliad and the Odyssey epic poems or rivers in Europe? They are epic poems by Homer, not the Homer Simpson we talked about in the last episode. Question 4 is always a true or false. Here we go. True or false? If Saddam Hussein was still alive, he would have turned 91 this week. False. That's false. He was born in 1937 and his birthday was in April. He would have turned 89. Question 5. Which classic movie was released first, The Sound of Music or Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? It was The Sound of Music, which won 5 Academy Awards right back in 1965. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang came out a couple of years later. Question 6 is a maths or geometry question. Beginning with H, what is the longest part of a triangle called? It's called the hypotenuse. Of course it is. Question 7, what was the first book in the Harry Potter series called? It was Harry Potter and the what? Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, unless you bought it in America, in which case it was called Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, because the American publishers didn't think people would buy a book that had the word philosopher in the title. After question 7, we do our first clues for the Who Am I. It's the same person all the way through. We'll do clues after question 7, after question 14, and as part of question 21, we will answer the Who Am I. It is the same person all the way through. Here we go. Who am I? I was born April 25, 1940, and I'm an American Oscar-winning film and stage actor and director. In 2023, I welcomed my 4th child, a son called Roman. I was 83 years old at the time. Any thoughts? Keep that in the back of your mind and we'll move on. Question 8. If a liquid had high viscosity, is it thick or thin in texture? It's thick. Question 9. How many million years ago did dinosaurs first roam the earth? I'm going to give you multiple choice here. Is it A, 70 million years ago, B, 160, or C, 245 million years ago? The answer is C, 245 million years ago. And I think they went extinct around 67 million years ago. Not sure, wasn't there. Question 10. Which legendary singer sang the lead vocal to Shake Your Tail Feather from the cult 1980 movie The Blues Brothers? It is, of course, Ray Charles. If you haven't seen The Blues Brothers, you really should. It's John Belushi, it's Dan Aykroyd, it's Ray Charles, it's Aretha Franklin, it's all these amazing singers and actors. Worth a look. Question 11. Is philtrum or phalanges the name for the bones of the fingers and toes? It's phalanges. Phalanges, philtrum, means this part of you right here for those watching on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you're watching your video apps on. It's that bit. Question 12. What series of comedy films was the 1994 Mission to Moscow the 7th and final installment of? Who remembers the Police Academy movies? Let me tell you, 15-year-old me, the Police Academy movies in, what would that be, the 80s, were witchcraft. They were the funny things I'd ever seen in my life at the time. I haven't seen the 7th one, though, so I don't know if the quality was maintained, shall we say. Question 13. The wax from which insect is used in the manufacture of lipstick, candles, and polishes? A whole bunch of other things as well. The wax of bees, as in mind your own beeswax, old people used to say. Maybe young people still do, just no one I know. Question 14, TV question. Which police procedural TV show, which ran from 1984 to 2010, was set in and around Sun Hill Police Station in the fictional Canley Borough Operational Command Unit in East London? It was The Something. It was the bill. And when my father passed away a bunch of years ago and we were cleaning up his house, we found a cabinet full of VHS videotapes where he just recorded every single episode of The Bill. I don't know why. Question 14, done and dusted. Therefore, it's time for more Who Am I clues. Same person as before, more clues. I've admitted I started smoking at 9 and drinking at 13, and I left home when I was 16. And to me, he's lucky to last that long. Surprised his parents didn't kick him out, what with all the smoking and the drinking. I often play mafia and gangster types, although I've also played a police officer, a detective, and a lawyer, as well as the devil himself opposite Keanu Reeves in a movie called The Devil's Advocate. Who's that? Do you know yet? More clues coming in a minute. Question 15. Which is the most abundant chemical element constituting roughly 75% of the universe's elemental mass? Here's multiple choice. Is it hydrogen? Is it helium? Is it oxygen? It is, in fact, hydrogen. Question 16. Which country in Africa has the most pyramids? Is it Egypt? Is it Uganda? Is it Sudan? And here's a hint because we're friends. It's not Egypt. It's not. It is, in fact, Sudan. The ancient Nubians built a huge number of pyramids, double the number that Egypt has, but much smaller, a lot of them. Question 17. Which former Beatle says he became vegan in 1975 after eating lamb chops whilst watching lambs play outside his window? I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. That, of course, is Paul McCartney here. Linda said, no more meat for us. What with all the lambs frolicking outside on the lawn, making him feel bad. Question 18. Which board game is played with 5 dice, with the name of the game also being the highest scoring roll of those dice possible? That's Yahtzee. I do like a bit of Yahtzee. Question 19. The second last question in general play of this podcast will always be an alive or dead. I give you a name. You tell me if you think that person is alive or dead. And today, question 19, alive or dead, Alan Alda, long-standing actor, been around a long time, played Hawkeye in the TV version of MASH, but was also, I think, in The West Wing. Was it The West Wing? A whole bunch of great TV shows anyway. Alan Alda is alive, and in late January he turned 90. That blew my tiny mind that he's 90 years old. Question 20 is always a music question, and I don't think this is the hardest music question I've ever asked. School's Out, Department of Youth, and You and Me are all hit songs for which 70s and 80s shock rocker, I say 70s or 80s, he's still alive, still making music today, does some radio show, loves his golf. Who's that? That's Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper's real name is Vincent Furnier, and Alice Cooper was actually the name of a band he was in. And when he left that band, he kept that name, but he still pays a royalty to the members of that band to be able to call himself Alice Cooper, which is very nice of him, I think. All right, let's finish the Who Am I. Same guy, more clues. My major breakthrough role was that of Michael Corleone in The Godfather in 1972. I won the Academy Award for Best Actor in 1993 after receiving 7, count them if you want to, previous Oscar nominations, and that Oscar was for Scent of a Woman. I am, of course, Hooah! Al Pacino. Alrighty, that's another 21 questions in the books. Thank you very much for playing along. I hope you did well with that set of questions. I hope you found them interesting. If you've got a trivia question you think I should be asking on this show, send it to me via the 21 Questions Facebook page, and I will ask that question and credit you as the contributor of that particular question. This podcast comes out every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Thank you very much for listening and playing along. We'll be back in a couple of days with another episode. Cheers.